Come on in and grab a seat, everybody. We want to go ahead and get started. We got several things to do tonight. We want to say welcome to everybody that is joining us online. If you're joining us online, we want to say we'd love to have you join us here in person whenever you're available or want to or feel safe to return. But until that time, we're so thankful you're able to join. Go ahead and text us and let us know that you are watching with your family or friends online. Other people that may be watching online somewhere else that's not Tennessee, let us know where you're watching from. You can find us either on Twitter or Facebook or something like that. Thanks to Mike and his team who make that possible. During the 4-minute party, everybody, we want you to go to that camera over there and say hello to somebody. How many of you know somebody who's not here tonight but is probably watching online? Raise your hand. All right, then do me a favor. During the 4-minute party, just go over there and say hi to them and give them a quick shout out. I think if you've got a cell phone, if you can go ahead and silence that, that would be very, very helpful. And speaking of our online presence, if you'd like to help with that, you just need to go and send an email to Mike Jones at that email address there. Mike's looking for volunteers to help out with running the camera, running the soundboard, lights, anything audio-visual. So if you are a student and you think that could be me, go and do that. All right, everybody, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. And if you can hear me, clap 3 times. All right, very good. Hey, Mike, is the next slide the slide that's got the date on it, the Boulevard Kids? It's not? Yeah, that's it. Okay, very good. Hey, so as you may have already noticed, you want to come grab this mic over here? In case you may have noticed, we have with us our children's minister. Many of you, that's nice, aren't they? I think it's turned on, but I'm not sure. Many of you came through the Boulevard Kids. How many of you in the room were once a Boulevard Kid? Raise your hand if you were, but let's hear it for the Boulevard Kids, everybody.
Woo-hoo!
All right.
That was poor. That was poor.
Okay, then you say it. Maybe it'll get better.
What?
Let's hear it for the Boulevard Kids.
Let's hear it for the Boulevard Kids. That's still lame.
People online at home are adjusting their volume. So, hey, I need everybody's help with this because this is an opportunity to do something really awesome, and it's coming up this Sunday, October the 25th. When? This Sunday, October the 25th. What day is it? What is the date? All right, we would love to surprise and bless the Boulevard Kids. Question, how many of you already have a Halloween costume or a trick-or-treating costume or whatever you refer to it as? How many of you already have your costume lined up, ready to go? Raise your hand. Okay, then you especially need to be in. If you've got a costume and it's ready to go and you think it's awesome, and if you want a chance to win 20 NBYG bucks, if you're the best-dressed girl or best-dressed guy, but this isn't an NBYG party. It'll be a party, and we'll be there, but this is going to be an event to help out the Boulevard Kids. Amy, what's leading up to this? Tell us what's happening and how we can help.
So this year, typically have any of you, do you remember doing the trunk or treat? Anybody do trunk or treat? Growing up doing trunk or treat? Yes. So this year, because of all the COVID things, what we decided to do this year is not do an official trunk or treat. We're actually having a family praise night. But Family Fall Praise Night, we are having the kids get dressed up, but we're going to do social distance. We're going to be outside. It's going to be a really fun time. We've got a bunch of little games that they're going to play at their cars, so they're not going to mix up. But everyone's a little sad about not getting the candy, and because that's the best part of Halloween, right? So what I went to is I asked Skid.
That's my favorite Amy Sane move.
Yeah, oh, you like that one?
Yeah, and the more important the thing is, the further back your arm goes.
So I asked Skid and Blake if they would be interested to have you guys be involved, and they were on and thought you guys would love to be a part of it. So here's what we're going to do. It's a surprise, so if you have a younger sibling, or if younger siblings are watching, please don't listen. But
if you are a younger sibling watching, please leave the room right now.
Please leave the room. So what we're wanting to do is give them a little bit of a surprise. So when we're done with our praise and we're going to be on the other side of the building where the gym is, then we're going to ask everybody to actually leave going to the back side of the church. And when they come on the other side, what I want is for you guys to be lined up on both sides of this whole driveway, all the way down, even past the playground. And we've got candy for you guys to give to the kids. And every car is going to have one of these, and they can then, as they drive by, slowly drive by, and you guys put candy in their buckets. And hopefully by the time they're done, you can do baskets, Mike. Yes, you can do baskets. Try to make the basket. Anyway, we thought that would be a really fun way for you guys to bless them, be involved in it, and I think the kids will absolutely love having you guys there and being excited, giving them some candy.
As you drive by as they drive by in their cars, we're going to park our cars in such a way. I don't know how many I've got. I meant to get Alex to count today, but I forgot. Upstairs, we have some sunshades that fit in your windshield that have Lightning McQueen eyes or different colored eyes on them, so we can look like Radiator Springs. We can make it look like Cars Village coming down through here. So the first 9 or 10 people will have those in your car windshield. You can't keep them, but you'll have those there, and then they can drive by. Any costumes, but we really need at least 30 or 40 people to make this look fun and exciting, okay?
Yeah, we want them excited. When they pull out, we want them to go, oh my gosh, that was so great. I mean, that's what we want.
We want them to say exactly that.
Yes.
Okay, we'll have cameras on them in case they, oh my gosh, that was so great. Hey, this event starts at 4 over there. We want you here at 4:15 to 4:30 to get in costume or get dressed. We have some costumes upstairs. As long as you put them back, we have some things upstairs you can help out with. But we prefer if you bring your own costume. But we'll have some Toy Story characters, and we'll have Barney and some other friends will be out there waiting. But we really want you to show up.
Yes.
4:15 to 4:30 to get in costume. Or you can be in place. If you've got your costume, you need to be here by 4:30 so that you can get in place by 4:45. As soon as they're done, we're ready. We've got all the candy. We'll pass out the candy to you, and you hand it out to them. If you got it, say got it. Okay, Amy, what else?
That's it.
Okay,
I'm
so
excited. Hope y'all can come.
We would love to have as many of you, especially I know seniors, you'll be going to your Devo after that. We would love, it's not a requirement, but we would love for you to come here first and be a part of this night. Any grades, 7 through 12, any of you can show up and be a part. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a big surprise for them, okay? All right, everybody got it? Very good. Everybody say thanks to Amy Sane. Bye, Amy. Okay, all right, very good. Hey, I want to, this is kind of a little bit out of order, I think, but Trish Waldron's here. I asked Trish if she would come tonight. Trish, would you join me up here for just a second, please? I know that Trish never likes anything that brings attention to her, but she'll have to get over it at least just this once. And, well, maybe not this once. There's a few times in our ministry where we've done things to bring attention to Trish that she didn't particularly like or care about. But this one will be the least intrusive of any of them. This will be the most helpful one. So some of you know that last week we honored one of our NBYG servants. We honored Jeff McLean. Jeff was the teacher of our class for over 20 years in the 9th grade classroom. We honored him with an award that we have called our Sycamore Tree Award. Since 2017, we've honored a male and a female who have given so much to the NBYGs. You'll remember our very first 2 recipients were Joe Mays and Deborah Garman. And then it was Randy Hobbs and Cindy Patton. And then this year, we gave it to Jeff McLean last week. And tonight we want to honor Trish Waldron. Trish, you may or may not have seen one of these, but these were purchased. They're handmade by a guy, I think, in Oklahoma. Yeah, and they are carved out of solid maple wood. It's just a really, really cool reminder that this ministry only lives on the branches of those who, what I like to say, lift others above the distractions of the crowd, that they might see the approaching Savior more clearly. Now, those of you that know the Waldron family know they've served our kids ministry, our youth ministry, the Kingdom, our small group ministry, families. They've served North Boulevard in a number of ways. And our families have been close since we moved here in 2001. My first time trying to find my way over to the Waldron's house, I can't tell the whole story, I don't think, but I pulled up to the wrong house and went into the other house thinking, well, there's all these cars. Trish said, just pull this cul-de-sac, look for all the cars, which I did. And I walked into the wrong house, and they were having their own party in that house. That was not the party that I was supposed to be at. And I just said, I'm looking for Trish Waldron, Trish or Steve Waldron. And they were like, they live next door. And I was like, thank you and thank goodness. And I left and went over there. And our families have just been really, really close. We vacationed together. Our kids have grown up together. It's been a real joy to serve alongside at camps and retreats and mission trips. And there's not many times when I've asked Trish, hey, Trish, I need you too, that she has not said, I'll make it happen or I'll work it out. And Trish has served us in the kitchen at the fall retreat for maybe over a decade. I don't know how many years that it's been, but she kind of took over when Deborah Garman stepped aside, and then now she is handing off to Dave and Miriam Miller, who many of you got to meet at this year's retreat. They picked a doozy of a year to start their first time, but Trish assisted and was there this year and helped out. So I could say a whole lot, and I know Trish doesn't want me to say anything, but Trish, we do want you to put this somewhere in your house. We do think it's one of the few things we give out in the MBYG that people wouldn't mind having in their house. But it is a reminder that you are one of those branches that our students have rested on, even if they don't know you. And there are kids here who have never met you, and there are some who know you very, very well. But you are one of the sycamore trees, and so this year we wanted you to be our 2020 representative along with Jeff McClain. So you're in great company, and you're actually funnier. You're even funnier than Jeff. I don't think Jeff watches online, so I think we're safe. But if he does, I'll probably get a text. But I want everybody here to join me in thanking Trish Waldron. She is one of our sycamore trees. Thank you very much. Thank you. She has somewhere she needs to be, so she's going to exit pretty quickly. But those are some people that are very, very, very meaningful to us, and we want to make sure that we honor them every year. We'll try to find a male and a female that have given something to the NBYG, and we have enough names to last us for the next several decades. So we're good to go there. All right, Jackson, how old are you, Jackson? 14 years old. So who is more outgoing, you or your brother, Will?
Definitely me.
Definitely you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. Did Will get you something nice for your birthday? Has your birthday happened yet?
My birthday happened October 19th.
Oh, October 19th. Did Will get you something nice?
Will asked me and told me happy birthday.
Okay. Is Will here tonight?
Will is not here.
Oh, okay. Well, is Will watching online? Will he watch online?
Not watching online.
Oh, well, where is
Not
Will?
right now. He will be watching.
Oh, he will be watching. So, Will, when you see this, just text your brother, slide a note under his door, Morse code, something. Just tell him happy birthday. What would you like for Will to get you for your birthday?
He never gets me presents, so I'm not expecting anything.
Oh, okay. All right, very good.
Money if he's giving me something.
Okay, money. There you go. Just brotherly affection. There's moments in every interview where I realize I should just stop asking questions, and that passed a long time ago. Hey, just be watching. Can I share with them what I shared with you earlier about the video?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the video that you'll see later on, there's a football scene, and you'll notice upon further review, Jackson is offsides, like extremely offsides. Like he's almost in the end zone of the other team. It was pretty hilarious. I was watching this going, how does he pull that off? How does nobody say, hey, you're offsides? Anyway, and then as soon as the ball is centered, the quarterback gets the ball. I don't know who was the quarterback that particular play. They go back, and immediately Jackson's like asking for the ball. It's like, I would have thrown it to him because he was clearly open because he was behind all of the defenders. It was pretty hilarious. Anyway, I digress. We're going to sing happy birthday to you. Since you're the only one up here, we're going to make you feel cool. You ready to go? Do you have an Abraham Lincoln Band-Aid already from last year?
Yeah, I do.
What did you do with it?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah. See,
Yeah,
I should have stopped asking
Let's end with the questions.
I did find out, though, that about Will. I did find out about Will's. Do you know the story behind this?
Behind what?
Behind, I asked Will last week. Was his birthday up here last week? And I said, Will, where's
He
your...
also said he didn't know, yeah.
Yeah, but do you know that he did know, and he didn't tell me. So your brother is a liar.
Does not surprise me.
Wow.
But your brother, he was trying to protect my self-esteem. Make sure I get this right, Russell. Will's, was it the first one he ever got in the 7th grade? Okay. I thought he said that the first Abraham Lincoln Band-Aid they ever got is still in the pocket of the jeans he was wearing the night we gave it to him, and it's been washed hundreds of times, and it's still there in the pocket. So that may be the actual coolest answer ever of where's the best place for it. It's still in the, so do something with it. Like, go stick it on Will's door. Okay, all right, very good. Whatever. We're going to sing happy birthday to Will Jackson and to Will last week. But the way that we sing happy birthday in the NBYG is with 3 simple words, and those words are, you're still cool, and it goes like this. Everybody say happy birthday.
Happy
Happy birthday,
birthday.
Jackson. Enjoy the Band-Aid. All right, very good. Interviewing a McKissick. That's always a highlight of True North. It's really good. All right, I'm not exactly sure what all is next. Maybe, is it the pictures? Oh, good. We're ready to get right into it.
Oh, perfect.
I'm excited about this. Hey, everybody, here are your pictures of the week, but this time they're not on a PowerPoint. They're on a video. I was going to say they're not on a screen.
They're
on-
fast-moving pictures.
Yeah, there are lots of pictures all in a row. Hey, before I forget to announce this, somebody left a pair of glasses. I don't know if they're real glasses or reading glasses. They were laying in the, is that the right laying. They were laying in the parking lot after the retreat. So if anybody, I saw at least 3 or 4 people checking to see if they had their glasses on. I counted at least 2 people that did that. They were like, okay, they're not mine. But if you left these glasses, they are right here, and they're going to be up here. I don't know if they are real or not. That's still hard to tell. So, okay. I thought you said they are because like they're yours. They're not yours, though. All right, come and get your glasses during the 4-minute party if you'd like to do that. So the retreat happened. During the 4-minute party, tell people what they can get over there, Blake, if they want to.
Yeah. So during the 4-minute party, if you've seen the T-shirts from the fall retreat and you said, man, those look really cool. I wish I would have went on the fall retreat. Well, next year, go on the fall retreat. This year, you can go and sign up where Alex will be over here, and you can put your name down and your size to get a shirt in the coming weeks.
Do you have to have been on this retreat to appreciate this shirt, though?
No, you could have gone to camp. You could have vacationed at TAG years ago.
Okay. Or been on any retreat with us. You'll see the shirts right over there. The coordinates on the front are to the center of the assembly hall there at camp, and it is the coordinates of a place where many of us have encountered God. So when somebody sees your shirt, I'm just curious, how many of you have already had a conversation where somebody said, what does that mean? Just raise your hand. I'm just curious. Okay, several. And I'm hoping that you shared with them, instead of just saying, oh, it's the coordinates to this place, I'm hoping that you're able to say, this is a special place to our youth group, and it's to this camp, and here's what happened, here's where I was. It's like God giving you an opportunity to say, they asked, now you can tell them. They're not going to walk up and say, hey, tell me about Jesus. But they are going to ask you that. And that was the design behind the shirt. And also to remind us of those places, not just TAG, and they're not just in foreign countries or in other mission points. There are places even in our own community where they're special to you. Maybe it's a table on the Greenway, or maybe it's a backyard swing, or somewhere where you have encountered God, and those are some special coordinates. If you want one of the posters that we had of our comic book, the posters are available for $5 a piece. You can also write your name down on that sheet and just put, I want a poster. Those are $5 a piece. And if you need an extra comic book, those extra comic books are $2 a piece. And if you'd like to get one of those, a blank one, or you want to do something with it, we've got several left. You just need to put that down there too, and we'll get that to you as well. I think that is all about the retreat, right? We want to take a moment to go back and look back on the retreat. Jesse Stacy, our speaker, by the way, said that he missed everybody. He thanks you for some of the kind message. He loved the video that we sent him. Jeff Walling, again, sends his thanks. He texted me today and said, thank all the group. We sent him a link to this video because he just wanted to see what we did throughout the weekend. So we're ready to show this for the first time ever. The only public viewing of our fall retreat video will be at True North. So Mike, go ahead and roll it. It was a lot of fun. Thanks to all of you who went and who made it such a great, great time. Those of you who weren't able to go, we hope to have you on the next retreat. It was a great weekend. We want to give you a chance to stand up in just a moment and to meet some guests that are among us. We're not going to embarrass our guests, but we're going to ask in just a minute when we all stand up. Some of our students are a greeting team. Would you come on up here and stand up here at the table and get ready to give out the gift cards? If you're a first-time guest, we have a Baskin-Robbins gift card for you. All you've got to do is come up here, fill out a visitor form. Everybody else, we want you to welcome somebody you either don't know or haven't seen in a while. And then we're going to get started with the time of worship in just a minute. During this 4-minute party, remember, be sure and go back to the camera and say hi to somebody. Give a shout out to somebody that is watching from back home. Text us if you are watching from home. And we look forward to having you whenever you can. Guys, let's stand up and let's have a 4-minute party. If you want a shirt, you can go sign up for shirts right over there.
I can't stop this feeling inside of me. You just don't realize.
Hey, I am Kate.
In your arms so tight, everything's alright.
getting all your work done.
Hey, to everybody watching at home, we're glad that you're with us. It's time for us to get started. But hey, Mom, and everybody else watching at home, hope you enjoyed True North tonight. We're about to worship, and then we're going to launch into the book of Habakkuk. It's going to be more exciting than it sounds, I hope. So stay tuned. We'll see you guys in a minute. All right, everybody, let's grab a seat. Go ahead and grab a seat. Hey, those that are going to help us sing, if you guys want to go ahead and get your places, those that are going to help us sing, go ahead and grab your places. Yeah, so we're just trying to clear up any misconception in the video. That was Sam Duggar's car that was written, that somebody had written on the back of that they were expecting. We've already had guesses as to 3 or 4 people whose car it might be. No, it's not Blake's car. It's not my car. It was a joke. So congratulations, Sam. There you go. All right. Hey, in just a moment, we're going to stand and worship. Those of you that are joining us at home, feel free to worship along or just sit and listen. Some of our students that are in the room are on our prayer team. If you're one of our prayer folks, would you guys or girls just find your place around the room? In a minute, the lights will go out, so just look for one of these students. And guys, seriously, if you have any prayer need and you want to be prayed with or prayed for or prayed over, one of these guys or girls will be glad to do that. Even if you're a guest, if you're an adult, they will pray for you, so just go and find them, because in a minute, we'll all be standing up. We want to be a people that are committed to prayer. And we've been praying for the last 12 months, or not exactly 12 months, but for 12 months, 52 weeks, and for 366 days of this leap year, we've been praying. We started in January. You'll see the year behind me if you're watching at home. You'll see the, hello Justin, you'll see the prayer cards of all of the year. I'm sorry, I got a little thrown off there. UT came walking by. And if you want to pray for our group, you can go online and find out how to do that. These are the people that prayed for us last week, and here are the people that are going to be praying for us this week. We do need somebody for Wednesday, October the 28th. We're trying to get 366 different people to pray throughout the year. We'll send you one of these cards, or you can get one here at the filling station. You can write down what you prayed for, and we'll post it on the boards behind us so that we can look over the entire year of 2020. Little did we know in January that we were going to be needing so many prayers, maybe more than normal. But it's pretty cool to watch the whole year take place. So sign up, and if you have one of those pray days, just feel free to pray for our group. He's back. We can continue on with True North now. It's ready to go. Yeah, thanks, Mike. All right. Always good to smile. We really are glad to have you here. We look forward to worshiping some together. Again, remember, the reason that we wear our masks is because we are worshiping, and so we want to keep everything safe. So please continue to wear those unless you're leading up here, but wear those masks. Let's all stand together, and if you want to send a text to Sharon Thornhill, you can do that. Everybody else, if you want to pray, you can go back there. We'll turn the lights out, and let's get ready to worship together for a few moments. Sing all together, then we'll split up to the first song. Okay, here we go. We exalt thee, we exalt thee, we exalt thee, O Lord, we exalt
This is the season for a new anointing. This is the season for a fresh outpouring. That the sons and daughters of the King of Glory may arise and shine. That the sons and daughters of the King of Glory may arise and shine as we declare, this is the day, this is the day, this is the day that the Lord made. I will rejoice, I will rejoice, I How do you explain? How do you describe a love that goes from east to west and runs as deep as it is wide? You know all our hopes, Lord, you know all our fears, and words cannot express the love we feel, but we long for you to hear. So listen to our heart and hear our spirit sing a song of praise that flows from those you have redeemed. We will use the words we know to tell you what an awesome God you are. But words are not enough to tell you of our love. So listen to our hearts. If words could fall like rain from these lips of mine, and if I had 1,000 years, Lord, I would still run out of time. If you listen to my heart, every knee will say, thank you for the light, thank you for the truth, and thank you for the way. So listen to our heart and hear our spirit sing a song of praise that flows from those you have redeemed. We will use the words we know to tell you what an awesome God you are. But words are not enough to tell you of our love. So listen to our heart. But words are not enough to tell you of our love. So listen to our heart. Church said. Okay, let's all be seated. We want to get right to it tonight. If you have the Bible with you, we'll turn on one set of lights up here in front so you guys will be able to see up here. If you have a Bible, I want you to turn to the book of Habakkuk. And just to help you out, like we told you last week, it is after Nahum and before Zephaniah. So, it's always one of my favorites. It's very difficult to find the book of Habakkuk. It's only 3 chapters, so it's very short. It's hard to find. It's often in those pages of your Bible that are stuck together, right? That you haven't really turned before. Some of you have never actually opened to the book of Habakkuk. Let's get the second set of lights on there too, Mike. I'm sorry, my bad. The book of Habakkuk is one of those books that most people don't spend a lot of time in. Now, some of you may have read ahead. Some of you are already thinking, why did I show up tonight? Because the book of Habakkuk, that sounds like the worst possible book for us to study. And yet, I think you're going to find it to be extremely relevant. And if you journal or you like to take notes in your Bible or maybe even on an app or in an actual journal, we're going to give you quite a few things to write down because I feel like this particular book is relevant to where we are in 2020. Before we completely jump in, I forgot to say hi to a special guest. It's really cool to have people from all over the country and all over the world. And for many semesters and years here at True North, you'll remember that we've had a lot of different exchange students that have come and been with us from all parts of the globe. And so tonight, with her permission, we want to welcome Elise. Did I get it right? Elisa. Elisa is right over here with Leah, and Elisa is from Belgium. So let's just all give a big MBYG welcome to Elisa from Belgium. We're really, really glad to have her here. And Leah's done a great job of bringing so many, like the United Nations. She's like the NBYG ambassador to the United Nations.
So Habakkuk, if you've already got the book of Habakkuk, if you're there, say got it. All right. I want to remember these words that we looked at in our series before that because these are going to be important to set up Habakkuk. Now, there were 5 words. I've already given you the first one. There were 5 words and there were 5 hand motions. So I'm going to help you out just a little bit. I'm going to show you the word and then I just want you to show me the hand motions that go with these words. These are what we call like the 5 pillars or the 5 benchmarks of discipleship. We want these 5 things for every person who comes for our group, okay? Comes to our group. So here they were. The first one was surrender. What do? Surrender. Anybody remember? Okay, we're going to hold up our hands. Surrender. Then the word was submit. The word was submit. What do we do on submit? Anybody remember submit? Very good. We're going to bow down. Okay, submit. The next thing we want everybody to do is that they find some support in the church. Okay, so they immerse themselves in the life of the church. We talked about holding hands. All right, so surrender and submit and support. It starts to look like a TikTok dance as you go. And then serve. Serve, we want you to offer something. You've got something to offer to somebody else in the world. And then the last one, anybody remember the last one? Because the last one is the one that's going to get us into the book of Habakkuk. Some of you wrote them down. What's the last one? I think I heard it. Yeah, people are whispering the right answer, which in itself is a metaphor and a message. If you give the wrong answer, all I'll do is say that's incorrect. Nobody gets kicked out. I love wrong answers, especially if you're trying to answer. So it's okay. You whisper it. If you're wrong when you whisper, you're still just as wrong. But it's share, right? It's even funny that we whisper that one. Share. And that one is share. What's our hand motion for share? Anybody remember that one? Share is where you're going to go and welcome somebody or kind of greet somebody else and share the word. These are the 5 things. If you come through our ministry and all you did was get baptized, which, by the way, we rejoice when that happens, as we did on Sunday when where's Elijah? When Elijah Reitz was baptized right here. Let's welcome Elijah to the kingdom of God. And so Elijah, I don't think will mind me using him as an example. You can stay right where you are. But what he did was he surrendered. He experienced an authentic conversion, or did he? My guess is he did because I've had several in-depth conversations with him to indicate that yes, this was not just I need to be baptized in order to get a Bible or to check a box. I want to give my life to Jesus. I want to submit. I know he's already got support and he's already finding ways in our group to support. And I've seen him serve. And then the next step is when he begins to share what has happened to him, and that's when discipleship happens. Here are the 5 words. So then, Elijah, we said if you take a movie about Jesus and you look at the plot of a movie about Jesus, it's an amazing story of someone who surrendered their life by submitting to God, who found support in a group of disciples that they might serve those in need in order to earn the trust to share the grace of the Creator. That's the plot of any Jesus movie. But now it's the plot of your life. You're to live your life not so that people say, oh yeah, that's the story of somebody else. Now Elijah goes to church, but I wouldn't describe him as that. This is the plot. So that when people see this Elijah, they think, oh yeah, that's my friend Elijah. You go, no, that's the plot of the Jesus movie. To get those plots confused, that's what we want to go for. So that Elijah becomes a spokesperson for God. He shares the name, by the way, of one of the major spokespeople for God. When we launch into this series, the series that I'm calling Yet, you'll see why when we get there, but we're not yet ready to get to that. But you'll find out why we call this series Yet. It's the book of Habakkuk. We don't even really know how to pronounce his name. You'll hear things like Habakkuk or Habakkuk, which is one of my favorites to say. We don't really know how to pronounce his name because we don't even really know what his name means. If his name is Hebrew, then it means to wrestle or to embrace. If his name is Akkadian, then it means to plant or a type of a plant, as Jeff was quick to point out last week. But most people will say that this probably means to wrestle or to embrace. We know little about him. We're not told anything about his family. Most people in the Bible were told that somebody was the son of somebody else, or they were related to this, or here's what they did. We know very little about Habakkuk. But if I were to ask you to tell me what is a prophet, this, by the way, is a statue of Habakkuk. We don't know what he looked like. This is a statue by the artist Donatello, who was a Renaissance artist and not just a Ninja Turtle. This is the statue of Habakkuk by Donatello. Now, when you hear the word prophet, this is going to be audience participation for just a moment. I want you just to tell me some characteristic of a prophet. Now, some of you, I've kind of asked this question of already and worked through it, so you kind of know the answer, so you guys are off limits. But if you know, and I'm not looking for a list of right answers, but when you hear prophet, what is a prophet? Somebody just give me a one-sentence summary of what you think a prophet is. Thank you, Isaac. Someone who receives messages from God. Okay, that's an answer. That's a good answer. It's a great answer. There's other answers. So we got part of it. Somebody who receives a message from God. Yes, Alex. Somebody who's blessed with knowledge from God. Similar to what Isaac said. Okay, Aubrey, you got another one. Okay, somebody that is going to be a pipeline of information from God to the people, or maybe a spokesperson. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. That's a good one. Okay, yes, Caroline. Someone who God speaks to and they share it with everyone else. These are great answers. And by the way, those are all the right answers. And for almost every single other prophet, that's exactly right. That somebody gets a message from God, somebody gets knowledge from God, and then somebody shares that message from God to all the people. If you got it, say got it. That is a prophet in every other case except in the book of Habakkuk. Does anybody in here, this would be a 500-point bonus, does anybody know why Habakkuk is different than the definition that I just gave you? There's something unique about Habakkuk, that he doesn't quite fit that definition. And so you wonder, why should he be a prophet? All right, Garrison, you want to take a stab at it? You can pronounce it however you want because we don't know. Habakkuk or Habakkuk or Habakkuk. Most people would just say Habakkuk, but how in the book what?
Habakkuk, it starts out in the book of him calling to God instead of God giving him a prophecy. It's Habakkuk calling on God.
Okay. It's the only prophet where it's the only dialogue is from Habakkuk to God and not from Habakkuk to the people of God. Habakkuk is bringing a message to God, and he's speaking to God on behalf of the people. Now, I know some of you here are already like, this is too Bible history. I don't need Bible class. We're going to get to 2020 and how you feel. My guess is everybody in the room from every country on the planet, whether it's the United States or whether it's Spain or Belgium or Mexico or France or Argentina or Afghanistan, people are asking these questions, and you're going to see yourself in Habakkuk. If you don't, it's because you've lied to yourself or you're living in some other reality, and I promise you that. Habakkuk is different. Now, while you're taking notes, I want to take a little side message to tell you this, because I feel strongly about this. If somebody says, what is a prophet? Almost always somebody hears that word prophet and they say a prophet is somebody who tells say it louder, somebody who tells the future. They prophesy. Does a prophet tell the future? Yes. But I want you to, this is something that somebody shared with me when I was probably in college, and I want some of you to get a start in the 7th grade or 12th grade. I want you to learn this now, because I didn't learn it for a long time. A prophet is not just somebody who tells the truth about the future and says, one day God's going to do this, and I predict this will happen. I mean, that prophecy are things about in the future. But the main focus of a prophet is not to tell the truth about the future, but to tell the truth about the present. And you say, I don't know what you mean by that. We'll begin to unfold that. But the main focus of a prophet is not to tell the truth about the future, but to tell the truth about the present. Here's another characteristic of a prophet. A prophet, don't get so caught up in saying, oh, it's somebody that is able to predict what's going to happen 100 years from now. I mean, yeah, that's prophecy. But a prophet, listen to this, because this is one of those top 10 things that I don't care if you get tired of hearing me say. That list is longer than 10 now, but this is one of them. And this probably does crack the top 10. A prophet is anyone whose heart breaks at the things that break the heart of God. A prophet is anyone whose heart breaks at the things that break the heart of God. Now, I want every student, 7th grade, 12th grade, boy and girl, I want you to hear me very carefully. That is not the case for some of us in the room. For some parts of my life, it was definitely not me. And even today, it's not always me. But you will know that you have taken a step into maturity when something is happening in the world that breaks the heart of God and it breaks your heart. Because most people your age don't care about the things that break the heart of God. Most of us are doing the things that break the heart of God. And a prophet's not just somebody that gets mad and tells somebody what's going wrong and points out to Cody where you messed up. No, a prophet is a person who loves Cody so much, who sees when Cody is doing something, and I'm picking you at random, Cody, who sees when Cody has done something that is contrary to the will of God and doesn't come and say, aha, I caught you, and God hates what you're doing, and you better straighten up, mister. No. A prophet is somebody who comes and says, Cody, what you're doing breaks the heart of God, and because God loves you, I love you, and it breaks my heart, and I'm not going to let you break the heart of God. So I want to give you this is kind of like that. We're going to go shallow for a minute, and then we're going to get deeper, okay, as we dive into the book of Habakkuk. This right here is a 1952 Topps baseball card, Hoyt Wilhelm, Giants player, New York Giants player. And this is a pretty valuable card. You'll see right here that on this graphic, which may be a little difficult for you to read, but in very good condition, this card sells for $15,000. It is actually sold. One of these cards has sold for $15,000 in really good condition. It goes down, but even in poor condition, like really bad condition, it's worth $375. Most people are going to pay between $1,000 and $5,000 for this card. Well, one popped up on eBay recently, and there it is. $19.99 or best offer. Well, plus $3.99 shipping. Now, notice, what do you see when you read? What jumps out at you? Anybody, anything? Read description. If you buy things on eBay, it always tells you to read the description. Make sure you read it, because once you buy it. And so here's what the description says. 1952 Topps Hoyt Wilhelm, read description. Condition is good. And then the very next line. It's a fake, not real, novelty. But it's still pretty real looking. Note the fine aged vintage-like details of the card. Use the card as a filler until you get the real one. Some time and effort was spent to fake it, selling as a novelty. See the enlarged scan for condition of the card. Now, I just ran across this, and I saw this, and I'm always thinking how this is kind of like that, and I thought, that's it. Now, I'm going to be speaking with a prophetic voice, and so, again, a prophet will sometimes confront people. I'm confessing as much as I'm confronting. If you got it, say got it. A prophet is somebody who comes and says, hey, is this you? And I don't want to pick on somebody. So somebody volunteer that if I can pick on. Okay, Emma, I'm going to pick on Emma. Emma's, I don't pick on her, but she volunteered. Emma, let's imagine that Emma's got an older female mentor in her life, and she sees something that Emma is going through or doing that is breaking the heart of God, and she realizes, Emma, our whole theme of our retreat, unmasked. Emma, you're walking around, not this mask, but you're walking around with a spiritual mask. And a prophet is somebody who sees right through the masks. I'm convinced that my wife has the gift of the spiritual gifts listed in the book of Romans chapter 12. There are 7 gifts listed. Some of you in Exit 6, we used to go through those. You may remember that, or you've been at Impact where we've looked through spiritual gifts. Every believer of God has a spiritual gift. And some people it's serving or giving or teaching or exhorting or leadership. But some people it is showing compassion or mercy. And some it is the gift of prophecy. And you say, well, I don't know anybody that can tell the future. Again, it's not about telling the truth about the future, but telling the truth about the present. I'm convinced that my wife has this gift. She'll say to me about a certain student, you need to call that person. I'm like, why? You just need to call them. Something's not right. Well, how do you know? Just something's not right. Well, who told you? Nobody told me. You just need to call them. And sure enough, I'll sit down with them. This has happened at least 4 times in the past year. I'll sit down with somebody and say, hey, how are things going? Oh, everything's good. Okay, well, the Spirit of God is kind of leading this conversation, which is totally true. I don't always say, my wife told me something's wrong with you. I just say, hey, the Spirit of God's leading. And by the way, it's not always my wife that tells me this. If I have a conversation with you, don't think that we've been talking about you at home. But occasionally she'll come and say, hey, you just need to talk to that person. And sure enough, the person says, yeah, I'm really going through this or battling this. How could you tell? Because a prophet can see through our mask. So they come to her, to Emma, and they say, it's pretty real looking. And Emma says, I'm just going to kind of use this as a filler until I get the real one. And a prophet says, some time and effort has been spent to fake it. All of us know, finding a $15,000 baseball card, very rare. But finding one that is a cheap knockoff, not so rare, and you can at least say, this is what it looks like. This guy's not saying, I've got a real card. He's not lying about it. He says, read the description. But most of us have read the description in very small letters on our hearts. So when Emma walks into True North, some of us, I don't think this is true of Emma, of what I know of Emma, but at times it's going to be true of her, and it's been true of me, where you walk in and you just pray that nobody sees the part that says, read the description. But Habakkuk puts a magnifying glass on the world. All prophets do that. Except here's the difference about Habakkuk. He's not so focused on going to the people and saying, hey, people, you're the people, okay? Hey, people, I've got a message from God. Instead, Habakkuk is turned in this direction and he says, hey, God, I want to ask you some questions that every one of these people are asking. We're going to have a little bit of fun with this. After I show you this picture, or walk you through this, which I've shown you these slides before, but it's been several years. Eugene Peterson, who wrote the Message translation, some of you are familiar with, he said, a prophet wakes us up from our selfishness so we can see the stunning drama that is our lives, and then they push us onto the stage to play our parts, whether we think we're ready or not. Now, that's pretty heavy for some of you in this room, so let's just go back to Emma. A prophet comes to Emma and says, hey, Emma, God's got something bigger for you than what you're doing. She's like, I'm pretty good the way I am. And he's like, yeah, but you're not in charge, Emma. God's in charge of you, and God has a role for you to play, and you got to play it. Yeah, but I'm busy. I got work, and I got school. I got a lot going on. Yeah, God, He cares about that, but He's put you in that job and in the classes at school so that you can do the things He wants you to do. And so the prophet says, Emma, it's time to get serious about God. Now, some of you haven't got that message, and some of you wouldn't respond if you got that message. Let's just be fair. I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm just being real. Some of us aren't ready to do that, whether you're watching online or somebody's not here at all. Eugene Peterson says a prophet, in fact, often will anger Emma by rejecting her excuses, ripping off her disguises, and then dragging her heartless attitudes and selfish motives out into the open where everyone sees them for what they are. Now, this sounds horrible. This sounds like a really bad person that would do this. But no, a prophet is a person who says, Emma, I love you too much to let you stay behind this mask. God has a role for you to play. And Emma, it's not who you are. This is not who you are. This is who you are. And let's push you out here. And so, if you say, well, nobody's ever done that to me. Now, I want you to hear very carefully what I'm about to say, because there's 4 things I'm about to show you that I think are really important. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands. But if you say, nobody has ever confronted me about some sin in my life or something in my life that's not going right, or nobody's ever really urged me to play a bigger role in the kingdom of God, well, then there's one of 4 reasons. 1, you're perfect. That's not it, so cross that one out. Okay, if you're with me so far, say I'm with you. You're not perfect. Or it could be you are still young and innocent. Now, for some of you in this room, this is the case. You're not innocent, meaning that you're not sinless. But some of you just have not done a whole lot of things that are so contrary to. Have you messed up? Sure. Have you sinned? Yeah. But some of you are still in a place in life where you're like, maybe I'm not really living for God, but I'm, everything's okay. You're still young and innocent. That's the case for some of you. And I could probably even point to some of you and say, this may be you, because you're like, well, nobody's ever confronted me about sin in my life. Okay. It's not because you're perfect, but it may be because you're still young enough. And you may even be a senior. Chances are not likely that if you're a senior and this hasn't happened, that this is the reason, if that sentence made sense. But if you're 7th and 8th grade, maybe. So I'm going to leave room for that. But the third one, somebody has confronted you, but you chose not to listen. That's true for probably some of us. I say us because there have been times in my life where I was confronted with sin in my own life and I just decided I don't want to listen. Don't you see that I'm leading Devos for my college ministry? Don't you know that I was a leader in my youth group? Don't you know that I'm not doing this? And I don't want to hear what you have to say. Who do you think you are anyway to tell me what to do? And you just don't listen. Somebody has confronted you. So maybe you see yourself in one of those 3. It's not the first one, so now we're limited to 2 and 3. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, but some of you say, I've never been confronted about my own sin. Well, it's either 2 or 3. The 4th one is the one I'm worried about. If you get to the 4th one, we got a bigger problem. Here's the 4th one. You have surrounded yourself with people who don't recognize that you are breaking the heart of God. Does everybody understand that? This is not a pointing a finger. This is saying, let's just be real. Some of us have surrounded ourselves with people that wouldn't know breaking the heart of God if we hit them over the head with a hoverboard. All you see is, I'm living my life. Nobody's confronted me. But it's because nobody has anything to confront you with, because they all want to do the things you're doing. Why would they confront you? They don't want you to stop. They want to continue doing them with you. And a prophet is somebody who comes in and says, hey, we got to stop this. We've got to wake up. Now, I show you this picture that I ran across of the Hero Chariot Superpower Bestness 2. I don't even know what's going on there. This is a knockoff product. You guys have seen some of the, I've shown these before, not these. These are all new pictures, by the way. I found some new ones that are classic. These are things that are sold in other countries where they want to be as popular as they are here. And so we know what that's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the Batmobile, but it looks more like Spider-Man. There's Batman. For some reason, Harry Potter got in on the action. I don't know what he's doing down there. There is so much going on with this vehicle. It's kind of like the screams of birds. We know what those are supposed to be. I don't even know what that is, but if you stand back at a distance, it looks like Fortnite. But if you get up close, I don't even know what's going on. There's Robert Cop. Maybe only funny to those of us who are a little older. I missed this episode of Thomas the Tank Engine, I'm afraid. I might have actually watched this. Here is Masters of the Universe Classics. Super Mario, we're kind of mixing our metaphors. Here's the Mighty Thor scooter. So Thor's pretty intimidating on that. This is Iron Deficiency Man, is what I would call this one here. Then you've got the Avengers Infinity Sacks. I don't know where they got from that. Well, let's just stay away from this. That's pretty scary. Then you have, not the Ghostbusters, the Spook Chasers. You've got this one here. This is the Hobbit, and apparently Obi-Wan Kenobi is joined in on the search for the ring. And, oh, look, he's got the ice cream maker there, Blake, and I just now noticed that. Here's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Minions. This is a crossover that I don't even know what's going on there. Again, if you look at it from a distance, you think you know what this is. But when you get closer, you realize they've completely misspelled it. I don't know what's going on with Dodrinkos. Love chips but hate chewing. That's an actual drink, by the way. Here is the Reformers. Deformation Robot. I love that one. Or this one, Deformed Car. This just makes me laugh. Toy, Story 5! Nothing about that makes any sense. Here's Mountain View. Or Arm & Hatchet Baking Soda. You all know what that is. Coolgate. That's a toothpaste. Better than Crust. Genuine fake watches. Just so we're clear. And Mike Jones, in case you want to tell the time, here's one. There's a Mikey watch. We can get a Mikey watch. Or you can go to KGB and get you some chicken. Know what that is? Hey, it got so bad that KFC even took ads from all over the world and said, hey guys, we're flattered. You can go to McDonald's. It's kind of like the one we have. Or Hot Dognald's. That's a good one. And then Burger, She Wrote. I like that. Here's a lad in costume. Very clever. Or where's the stripy dude? We don't want to break the copyright. Or these board games. Climb Slide. No Apologies. Sea Battle Combat Naval. There you go. Watch Cat and Rat. Or you have the Adios shoes. When you're heading out, you just put on your Adios flippers. Or Adidas. Remember their slogan, nothing is possible. That's good. And then I like these. There's the South Face. Here's the Huge Mountain. And then, of course, the North Fake. We're just going to call it for what it is. There you go. Now, a prophet basically comes to Emma and says, Emma, I know what you're going for, but it's a knockoff. Now, again, she volunteered. I'm not picking on Emma. I'm saying a prophet is somebody who comes, and those pictures often generate some chuckles because we know what they're going for. But I have to ask you this question. If this is what we're going for, and Habakkuk comes as a prophet, comes and says, this is the product in here. This is what and here's the instruction manual. And then we lay your life, whether it's Cody or whether it's Emma or whether it's my life or Haley's life or Chance's life, and we lay it over. Does it elicit the same responses from all of the demons of hell or all of the angels who realize just how far short we fall of the real product. Now, normally, it is the prophet telling the people, I know what you're going for, but you messed up. It's normally the prophet who says that. You guys know enough about the prophets. Not everybody does, but some of you know enough about the prophets. Here is what's unique about the book of Habakkuk. Habakkuk is the one taking that message to God, saying, now listen carefully, because for somebody in this room or somebody watching at home, this is where we may get your attention. Habakkuk is the one that says to God, God, I know what you had in mind, but you really goofed. I know what you were going for, but somewhere along the lines, I think you forgot the goal. Or, God, you expect me to believe that this is the product that you really, you've messed up. So if you've ever found yourself asking this question, we'll close with this. This is the very, right out of the chute. If you have a Bible that has headings, it either says Habakkuk's question or Habakkuk's what? Complaint. Does anybody have question? Some translations have question, some say complaint. So first of all, I just want you to know, some of you are, we don't have time to dive all the way into it tonight. We're going to continue next week. It's a 3-chapter book. It's going to take us longer than that to probably get through it. But Habakkuk doesn't say, hey, everybody listen up. I got a message from God. He turns to God and he says, hey, God, listen up. I got a message from the people. First of all, I don't like what I'm seeing. Look what he says. How long, O Lord, must I call for help, but you don't listen? Now, if I were trying out for the part of Habakkuk, Chamberlain is still in the room. Is Chamberlain still here or did he have to leave? Chamberlain does a lot of theater, and if Chamberlain were playing the part of Habakkuk, I don't know how he would read this line. I don't know how Habakkuk, said it. Habakkuk probably wrote it and didn't say it. But I don't know if he would go to God shaking a fist. I don't know. Oh, there is Chamberlain. Be back there. I don't know, Chamberlain, if you were given this script and you were to go and you're going to play the part of Habakkuk in a dramatic monologue, there's a couple of ways to play this. And maybe next week, if you can be here next week, I'd like for us to kind of talk through that and let's try it out. Because here are the words. How Habakkuk said them with the words of his heart, I don't know. How long, O Lord, must I call for help, but you don't listen? Or cry out to you violence, but you do not save? Why do you make me look at injustice? Why do you tolerate wrong? Destruction and violence are before me. There is strife and conflict abounds. Therefore the law is paralyzed and justice never prevails. The wicked hem in the righteous so that justice is perverted. That's his complaint. Now we're going to stop with his complaint because first of all, can you believe that this is even in the Bible? That if I'm writing a book about me and I'm in charge, I don't let somebody talk that way to me. But God gives Habakkuk a whole book. Now just look at these words and we're going to close with this. And I'd like 3 people to answer to finish us off tonight. Can anybody here raise your hand and say, these are words or this is a phrase that yes, I or somebody I know has said in thinking about God as I've looked at 2020 or maybe last Thursday or maybe last month or last year? You turn on the news and your friends, some of them are not here in this room because they say, I cannot believe in God. Why? And they go, let me write down some questions I have for God. And guess what? They appear in the first sentence of the book of Habakkuk. And if your friends ever knew that their questions appeared in the Bible, they might be more inclined to listen, especially if they found out that God actually answered the complaint. 3 sentences that you see in this, or if you're looking at the first complaint, what's 3 sentences that you say, yep, I've asked this, or this could be asked about God because of the events of today? 3 of them, and then we're done. Who's got it? Yes, Alex. Okay, tell me. Okay, let's just stop with that one. Why do you make me look at injustice? Anybody turn on the television and seen injustice? Okay, I at least saw one hand went up. Somebody's been watching. Anybody go to your school and see injustice? Anybody standing in the line at Walmart and see injustice? What's another one? Somebody else over here. Yes, Caitlin.
How long, O Lord, must I call out for help?
How long, O Lord, must I call out for help and you don't listen? Now, again, not asking you to share or confess or elaborate, but how many of you have ever prayed for something that you continue to pray for that has not yet happened? Raise your hands. Okay? Habakkuk says, hey, I'm speaking on your behalf. I'm a prophet. I'm speaking on your behalf to God. Well, isn't a prophet supposed to speak to the people who's not this time he's not because I've had it? Or maybe not I've had it, but I'm really confused. And before I do what God asked me to do, I got to straighten a few things out. What's the last one? Or one other one. There's actually a bunch of them, but I see two. We'll do these last two over here. We'll start with Landon and go to Reese. Landon.
Why do you tolerate wrong?
Why do you tolerate wrong? Anybody turn on the news and seen things that are wrong and thought, how could a loving God allow that to happen? Raise your hand. How many of you have ever been confronted by a friend who says, you go to church, that's fine. I don't believe in God because I saw this happen on television, and if there's a God, this would not happen. And because this is happening, there cannot be a God. Anybody had a conversation that sounds anything like that? A lot of you have had that. You need to know that Habakkuk speaks that question to God. And by the way, spoiler alert, he gives an answer. And then finally, Reese. He stole yours. Okay. How long must you steal her answer, Landon? Anybody got one more? We got one more. Justin, did you see one? Okay, which is what? Okay, but you do not listen. Or you cry out violence and you don't save. There is strife. Conflict abounds. Does this sound like the news yesterday? The law is paralyzed. Justice never prevails. The wicked, they seem to outnumber the righteous, God. Like we're outnumbered here. And that justice is perverted. He says, God, I know I'm a prophet, but I'm not doing anything until you answer a few questions because I don't know what to say to the people because I don't get what's going on. Like those knockoff products. God, I know what you were going for, but you messed up. And if I go to the people and say, here's God, they're going to laugh at me like I've got a Batmobile with Spider-Man and Harry Potter and Batman. They're going to think that, what is that? And he says, I don't want to be laughed at, God. I'm tired of being laughed at. So I'm going to sit here until you sort all this out. I bet he never imagined that God would say, hey, Habakkuk, okay. The secretary goes, Habakkuk, there's a call for you on line 1. Oh, cool. Who is it? It says it's God. I don't know what God sounds like, so I don't know, but it says it's God. Did you call God? Well, kind of. Well, then I'd pick up and see what he has to say. And we'll look at that next week. God, thank you for tonight. Thank you for this book and this prophet. And thank you for the pain that it's in the hearts of some of us in this room that are going to lead us to want to dive in to what you say to Habakkuk. And God, I just know that it's going to be a blessing, not because of the one who teaches, but because of the material that you have put in your word from which to teach. And it's through the name of Jesus we pray, and we all say together, amen. Hey, God bless. Have a great night. Come back next week and we'll continue with Habakkuk 1. We'll find out God's response. Have a great night. If you want a shirt, you can buy a shirt. If you want to sign up for a pray day,
Not yet done.